Minnesota State Innovation Model, Practice Facilitation, Small Tests of Change. Today, I want to talk a little bit about small tests of change or Plan, Do, Study, Act, which is the PDSA cycle. I think that over time, folks have heard of this. Basically, what it is, it's a method, a way to test a change to see if what you did resulted in the change you were looking for. And boil it down to that, and we'll demystify this because Plan, Do, Study, Act, some folks are intimidated by it, but really it's just writing down what you're doing and what you're finding and telling your story. So that's a way to look at it. And I think that the model has these three questions. I think let's look at them that way. Basically, what we have are the three questions for improvement. What are we trying to accomplish? And that simply is your aim. How will we know the change is an improvement? This is the measures. This is where your data comes in. And then the third question is, what change can we make that will result in improvement? And we do process mapping to help us understand what is a current process that we're doing, and then what could our future be to make some changes. So identifying opportunities for improvement. How do you do that? Well, you're looking for where are things breaking down, where is it broken, where do you have those wonderful workarounds? We all have them, we all do them, we develop them, and they get really, really busy for us, but it accomplishes something for us. But that's an opportunity to look where we can do some improvement. And also we look at where variation occurs. Where is there opportunity for us to really dive in? Or where there's duplication and unneeded steps. So that kind of is that identification opportunity area. And then we move on into decide what you'll change in the process. So you want to identify better ways to do things, learn what has worked at other organizations, because perhaps there's something that you can take and adopt. You might have to adapt it for your organization, but it gives you some outside ideas to bring in, and that can be very helpful. Also, review the best available evidence for what works. What's out there in literature? Take a look. Remember, the solution doesn't have to be perfect the first time, and that's why they call it small tests of change and Plan, Do, Study, Act, because you keep taking a look at it. So let's talk about it. So when we look at it, the first is P, or plan. So what change are you testing with the PDSA cycle? What is it your focus area is? What do you predict is going to happen? Who needs to be involved, and are they at the table, or do you need to invite other people? Plan small tests for change. Don't bite off everything in the first move. Take a small slice and start working with it. And that's really hard because people want to take huge pieces and work with that. So you want to scale back and start off small, and you can build because you can do another cycle. Don't worry about that. Plan small tests of change. How long will it take to implement? You're going to have to figure that out. You need to consider it. You need to talk about it. What resources will you need? Is it people, time, space? What do you need? So talk about it. And what data needs to be collected? This is huge. You need to know what are your data sources, because measuring is something that you need to be able to do so you can see if you're making a change. So you're going to look at organizational goals. You're going to look at your identified focus area. So once you figure out the focus in your planning stage and you find out where your data is coming from, you're going to do your SMART aim or goal. So you're going to do what by when. That's a key piece, and we have another video on that available for you if you want to talk about SMART aims. Just go ahead and look at that. That will help you. And then you're going to look at how long are you planning to do this test. What is your start time and what is your end time? Okay, so what is that designated time frame? And then your measure, what is your baseline? You're going to have to figure out, am I going to go back 3 months, 6 months, a year? What makes sense for what I'm going to monitor? An analysis and standards of comparison. Okay, so action steps. What exactly are we going to do? So you're going to list out the steps and who's responsible to do them, because you need to know this, because you need to get this all documented so you can actually see it and people can interact with it. That's our planning stage. We get into do. Do is where you're going to pilot or test interventions. This is, you do things on a really small scale. So document what you see, collect your data, what exactly is your setting, and how do you account for variance? Okay, so describe what actually happened. What and how did you do the work, and what did you see? So do, what are your action steps? Document them, and then take a look at that. Because once you do your steps, you're going to then move into the study, or the S section, which is study and analysis of the data. Did the change result in the expected outcome? Yes or no, or maybe. Significant insights. Usually there's some ahas, or there's some like, wow, didn't know that. You get some learning. What exactly did you learn? And not everyone's going to learn the same thing. So make sure you've got different voices. You're getting everyone's voice, because you're going to find that there's going to be some differences. And then you're going to have to summarize your findings and look for unintended consequences or unintended things that happen that you didn't anticipate. They can be surprises, they can be a good thing, or they can be a bad thing. So success or failure, what exactly did you see? So describe the measured results and how they compared to what you predicted. So what were the results? Get them down. So then we go from study to act. So based on what you've learned from the test, are you going to adapt, modify the changes, and repeat your PDSA cycle, your small tests of change? Are you going to adopt? Consider expanding the changes in your organization. Can you spread it out? Can you go ahead and put it into different departments, different nursing units, different multidisciplinary settings? What's going to work? Or do you need to abandon what you were working on and just say, nope, this is off base, doesn't work? That's okay, because sometimes we find that that's a good learning for us. And then you repeat your PDSA and start with another hypothesis or another concept of what you want to measure. Which actions will be adopted? You need to go ahead and state those, and what changes are we going to do based on our findings. You also need to know, how will you assure that this improvement will be maintained over time? What is your sustainability plan? Just because you've gone through this process doesn't mean it all stops and everything's great. You need to consider, what do I need to do to look at this process to ensure that it's maintained or it's embedded over time?